Hello, hello. There we go. It was I had my mic muted. This makes more sense. Okay. What are we working on today? Today we're doing 100% designing. Unsurprisingly, that is like 2/3 of our streams. But we're pretty close to the main designs being done, so we'll just need to go through and troubleshoot things. I am worried that we've forgotten stuff. It's pretty likely we've forgotten some things. So I'm expecting there's going to be like a huge hole in our base, or like weird, awkward like additions onto the side just to get something functional in this version. I don't know what this autosave is. That must be testing. Staged. Then we scroll down. I should rename it, considering we click on this like every single day almost, and we have to scroll to the very bottom. And the autosave gets saved in a very different folder, so maybe I'll just move this, have this unfiltered, unfoldered. I don't know if that's really a word. That's definitely not a word. I don't know why I had any doubt there. But yeah, it would probably be best for me to put the thing I work on, like, load like multiple times a week into the main folder. Because Factorio, I think when it saves stuff, that's when it changes the base folder. So autosaves just automatically change it, which is kind of annoying, but also like understandable. But yeah, we got I realized the ratio that I needed was like a 1 to 4. Oh wait, we need, okay, I need to get an estimate first of how many redshift, how of what ratios we need. I think what we have right now is the right ratio. Let's see, burner, staged. See, like burner 100 efficiency module outpost. This thing's easy to get to. But yeah, I just need a rough idea of what we need. Obviously, we're going to need a lot more undergrounds to go between the patches. I have no idea how many that will be, roughly. Absolutely no guesses. How far are patches from each other? Okay, so we can probably assume, and if we do, I think we're doing for 4 yellow boats. Okay, so we need an extra, oof, if we're being not generous. What's the opposite of generous? Or not generous. Not overestimating. What would be the opposite of that? Because I was gonna say if we're being generous, we only need this many, but this isn't being generous. This is being stingy. So 330 is on the low end probably. So I imagine we'll need at least like 500 just to connect the two patches together, which is manageable. Like not the end of the world, but that does almost double the amount of undergrounds we need. Well, actually, no, it doesn't. It increases by 50%. So this is considered 1 outpost. This is considered 2. Okay, we're gonna delete some stuff. Modified. Because that one was just like a UPS test roughly, but realistically, this is the ratios we have. And we don't need the power either. Now we do need these. Okay, I think that looks right. So roughly, this is what 1 outpost will be, since it's supposed to be a double outpost. So let's make a blueprint of this. I was gonna write it down, but I can just carry it over. Hello, Rubashko. Welcome, welcome. Did I write the command correctly? Yes. Okay. This is outpost estimates. So this is roughly what this is for a single outpost. Oh, that's so much. Yeah, we need an extra, let's see, add 500 plus red underbelt. That is expensive. Oh, 352 splitters? Okay. Okay, I think I need to do a rough, let's see, outpost estimates. I think I need to do rough estimates using a Factorio lab. No, wait, not Factorio lab. Factorio, Kirk McDonald, right? That's the one that a lot of people use. Because we need, okay, burner inserters, we've already accounted for those, so at least I don't need to do that. That's nice. And our goal is 6 times this per hour. So that's 1,800. Let's say 20,000 yellow belt per hour. That sounds like a lot. but not nearly as much as 10,000 red belt per hour. Jeez, okay. I really hope that for some reason my estimates are completely wrong, but these do seem reasonable. I didn't realize so much belt was being used. Okay, then we need about 9,000 of the red belts. Okay, these are the... Oh, and then 350 times 6 for the splitters. Okay, that's not too bad. I feel like that part's pretty reasonable. So 700 times 3, that's 2,100. Okay, so it looks like total, we only need... I don't like the number I just saw. This says we need 14 yellow belts of iron plates. Is that a lot? That might be a lot less than I'm thinking. I'm pretty sure that's a lot, though. We'll save this as modified and look what we already have. But that sounds insane to me. That sounds absolutely insane. That's so much going into belt production. I think I might have to accept the entity cost and use yellow belts, because that's a lot of red belt. That's so expensive. How much of it is going into red belts? Let's see. 4 belts of that are going to red undergrounds. 1 belt of that is going to red belts. And only 1 belt is going to the yellow belt. So yeah, it's the red undergrounds are using about 80% of the resources, which is not surprising, but I really thought the number was lower. But what do we have right here? This is 1, 2. Okay, so this is 2 belts of iron. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? No, wait. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, so we have 8 so far. 1 of them is going to that, so we can say we have 7. So this is half of what we need. That's a little bit less overwhelming, but that's so much iron. How am I going to get that much iron? I don't think I can get that much iron. Not that easily. Not in a way that would be worth it. Because if we redesign our base with yellow belt, we can roughly assume we're making... We would need twice as much red belt. So let's copy this. Because right now we're looking at these numbers right here. If I were to replace this with yellow belts, we can probably say we need double the fast transport belt. Almost. That's going to be basically a 1-to-1 replacement, or 1-to-2 replacement. So that gives us 40,000 yellow belts per hour. Okay, that's awful. Undergrounds are a bit trickier, because these aren't for speed so much as they are distance, I don't think. We can probably say 1-to-1. Oh, yeah, I should actually say 1-to-2. So that would actually become like 25,000 yellow undergrounds per hour. And then splitters, those are a 1-to-1 replacement. Okay, so splitters we can just say are yellow splitters now. That reduces our iron requirement by 80%. Or 80%. At the cost of having to place 10 to 15,000 extra entities per hour. That's a lot of entities, but that's also a lot of iron. I don't know what to do. I thought the entity cost would be a little bit lower. What's the theoretical maximum? It's 3 bots per tick, right? Is that right? Or three iterations per tick times 60. So that's 180 per second. Or is it 3 entities per second for the dispatch rate of bots? I feel like it's 3 per tick. I wasn't able to find it when I looked it up, but I didn't look that hard. 3 per second, 3 per tick would mean I can place like 600,000 entities per hour as a theoretical maximum. That's obviously dependent. That assumes you have enough bots and enough resources and buffers for there to be no like double iteration or any issues with it. But if they can place that many per hour, 10,000 doesn't sound nearly as high. How many entities are in my main base? That's another important question. Oh, my entire base is only 50,000 entities. Well, plus all of the ore patches, that's probably another like 25k. That sounds I don't know. I don't know if that sounds like a lot of entities or not. Oh, we haven't we haven't made any bots. I think we need to increase our bot production as well. I'm gonna take a look at the 100% base. Maybe that will give me an idea. Because if they also use an absurd amount of iron, that makes me feel a little bit better. I feel like they don't, because the entity count for their base, because it's so much more compact, it's just lower. Even if it's similar production, their outposts are significantly cheaper, I think, for more production. So there's a good chance they don't use more. Well, okay, maybe not significantly cheaper, but they're cheaper. They're definitely cheaper. Maybe not in terms of assembling costs. Actually, no, they're probably better in terms of assembling machines. Red chips. They use more red chips. That's about the only thing they use that's more than us, though. Yeah, burners are burners are so bad. Every day we realize how bad they truly are. Although I don't know where the blueprint book is. I guess this is an older version of the outpost, so we can just look at this one. So this is what their outpost looks like. And this is significantly, well, this is almost exactly the same size as our single outpost, I think. Let's create a copy of that so I can access it easier. Same with this one. Okay, so this is our single outpost. This is 118 inserters, assembling machines. So these are running almost full speed. These ones are. So we could say we're producing about 50% more in our double outpost. Is that right? Yeah, but we're doing it with way fewer, in a way more expensive way, I think. Because this also has 720 drills. Okay, yeah, I want to say they're about equal. Looking at the productivity mods, yeah. Okay. I honestly thought our outposts themselves were worse. I mean, they are, but I thought they were a lot worse. Because the fact is, we need 2 copper patches to make this, which is a little bit rough. But yeah, they use a grand total of 1,000 belts and 700 yellow belt, and they don't use any red belt, or almost no red belt. So we would increase this by 50% to compare it to ours. So our yellow belt requirement is actually the same per green chip produced. And then you look at the fact that we also have this. So this difference right here is how many more extra lanes of iron I need to match their production. Oh gosh. Is that right? I think that's right. Can I just hide these? Yeah. Okay. So the red belt requirement we have is literally tripling the iron requirement. Yeah, we're back. Yeah, we're back to this madness today, unlike yesterday's. Unlike yesterday's madness, which is so much more, so much more manageable. Well, hello. Howdy, howdy. I'm trying to get an idea of how much iron I need right now, and I'm kind of like internally crying about how much iron that is because it is so much worse than I thought it was. And I'm starting to second guess how many outposts I think I can make. But maybe it's all right. I'm trying to find where they produce belt, but the thing is they don't produce this red belt because they don't need to. At least not to this degree. I really think I need to redesign my outpost. Like 20 belts? Yeah, there's at least 20 belts. Hello, bye-bye. Welcome, welcome. Where is red belt? I wish you could zoom in farther without it leaving map view. Okay, they have red belt production here. So they actually have like 3 fully running ones. Oh. Assembly Machines 3 might be worth it. With how much belt I need? That these are probably justifiable because they'll be running for like 2 hours. Okay, so yeah, I think we need to not do direct fed gears and switch to assembly machines with modules because this is 24% extra iron. That's literally 3 iron lanes saved. Like that's a lot. Yeah, I think we need to do that. Have I did click the link. I didn't understand the link at all. I was very confused. What am I doing? So this is designs for burner 100%. Currently, I am comparing the base to an actual normal 100% run to see if there's anything I'm missing for how to produce the outposts. But the thing is, I think it's just our iron requirement is significantly higher due to the fact that burner inserters are so bad. Yeah, world record base. Totally. But we're just getting a vague idea right now of the production of the current base. But then I looked at our outposts. So this is my outpost. This is theirs. So belt requirement is the same ish. Because this is smaller, so multiply it by 50%. Undergut requirement is the same. Transport belt requirement, we use a little bit more, like 50% more. And then we have this in addition to it, which is incredibly expensive. And I'm trying to figure out how we can manage that. Because these right here, almost more than double the cost of the base. And I can cut them, but I think that increases my entity requirement by 2,000 per outpost, 2 to 3,000 per outpost, which is a lot. So it's a decision I have to make before I finalize the base, but I don't know which is better. Okay, what's the total entity requirement? Because it is 2,000 extra entities per outpost, but maybe it's not as bad as I think. Because that's only really, it sounds like a lot, but that is only what looks like a 20% increase in entities, which is still very high. But 20% increase in entities for less than half the cost is pretty big. Is there anything, and then that brings up the question of, I have to read, how do I redesign this? Burner only, then you need coal everywhere. Coal or solid fuel. But yeah, we need fuel everywhere. And then we're not using logistic bots. We're using construction bots just to build things. Total like 12 to 13k? Yeah, somewhere around there. I don't think the efficiency, I don't know if the efficiency modules necessarily count in entity cost. I'm not, because I don't know if we're using them. So let's take off 1,000. Let's just say 11k, something like that. So we would be increasing it to about 13 to 14k. That sounds like a lot. But also, I don't know. How can I get 16 belts of iron? That's so many. But yeah, no logistic bots. Construction bots are allowed and required. Technically, logistic bots are also required for the achievement. We also have to use solar power briefly. But for logistic bots and solar power, we're just doing them for the achievement. We're not allowed to use it like for our base. Because it seems cheaty to have logistic bots just bring coal everywhere. Also, I don't think it would actually be optimal, except for like maybe a couple builds. Because logistic bots are incredibly expensive. Yeah, the solar radar setup, the whatever it's called, Solaris. Number of logs. Yeah, you need a ton of logistic bots too. The power requirement would be massive to save on belts. Yeah, I think in Megabases Logibots are great because this is an uncapped research. Feel like it's a little bit less beneficial here. Oh wait, okay, hold up. Worker robot speed is an infinite research, and we do have extra rocket launching ability. We could get like one extra research of this. That might offset the entity cost. Because what would that be? That would be like a 10 to 15% increase if we can do a couple of them. I'm just guessing, but I feel like it's probably goes from like 500 to like 550 or something like that. So we could say that's about 10% if we can get this. Now, while we do, and we would be getting those launches while we're not UPS limited, so having our base running, not a bad idea. Plus, it consumes lots of green chips, which is fine. Also, I might replace these with prod. I could replace these with assembler 3s. Oh, we haven't built assembler 3s yet. I mean, we have, but we haven't done an early one. I don't think so. Okay, let's add that to the to-do list. Early assembler 3s. Because this is a stage way after we have already needed them. I mean, technically, it could wait this long before you get any assembler 3s. The world won't end. But that is like, that would be like 30 to 60 minutes of not having yellow science, which isn't great. But yeah, this is what we're looking at right now. So this is this is 2 belts of ore, 3 belts of ore. Wait, 2, 4, 6 belts of ore. So we would actually need, okay, that makes it 12. So if we want to use red belts, we have to have this many extra furnaces to use red belts. And if we use yellow belts, we need this many. I think I need, okay, I think we need to make a blueprint of this, and we need to go to like a normal seed. That might be my only option. Let's call this full base. Put requirements on there, gears for belts, blue chips as reminder. I don't really need requirements for things that I'm currently building. That's not that difficult to remember generally. Because basically anything that we've already labeled or anything that we haven't built doesn't have any of the prereqs, so there's no real reason to specialize it. Call it full base, name is full belts, it doesn't matter. Do appreciate it, but these are very temporary things. They don't need to be like well described. It's like a to-do list for like 2 days from now. It's not like we're going to be checking it in a month and being confused at what they are. So we don't need to worry too much about that stuff, at least. Do we have a 100% save that we can use? I don't think we have a full base. I could load this one. My old run, maybe? Oh my gosh, my fan just ramped up so hard. Because this was our first attempt, so everything is already maxed out. I think we got to like 10 outposts in this one. Oh wait, no, it's not running. Oh, maybe it was just because it was loading the save. Or maybe we already, no wait, we already deleted it. Never mind. Okay, there we go. So it doesn't really matter how we paste this. Oh, there are still stuff here. Okay. We don't need to save this one. We're just giving a rough idea right now of how patches will connect. So let's say we have our base near the starting water. It'll be somewhere like here. Gosh, this base is so much larger than our original one, but it also is designed for a faster time, so it needs to be larger. Although we probably overdid it on the size a little bit. But having our main base be a little bit larger isn't where most of the time is going to be lost, so I'm not too concerned with that. But looking at this, we would need Okay, we need to use trains. Definitely need to use trains. We weren't entirely sure on that for a while, but we will definitely need to use trains to get these patches. I see now why they're not connected by hand. Like, this isn't that far, but to connect what would end up being 5 separate patches by hand, that's a lot of room for error, where if you use trains, you only have a couple points where you can mess up. Like, you can't mess up every single turn. Yeah. So yeah, well, even though it would be a short rail, I think it's worth... Okay, this one actually, that's a bad example. This one probably would be connected by hand. But like these ones, rail's probably a good idea. Also, rails aren't that expensive. But realistically, let's look at this. Okay. We need 4 patches here, right? So 1, 2, those are easy-ish to get to. This one's kind of bad. I don't know if this would even be usable. So we would have to go all the way over here just for patches. Chances are that our outpost goal is going to be a lot lower than I thought. Let's aim for like a 4 hours of outpost production. Currently, we're aiming for 7 million green gems per hour, which is a very unreasonable goal, I think. But it's a good goal. I just don't think we'll reach it. Because it's burner inserters. They're really, really, really bad. But yeah, based on how this looks, I think saving iron is probably going to be worth it. Because this is very expensive. Especially over here, we have 1, 2... Well, these are all half lanes, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this one only requires 6 belts of iron on the left, and even that's a lot. It's like 6 belts of iron, and that would make it about 8 belts of copper, because things aren't fully running. Yeah, they're not completely running, so I think we have it balanced as half a belt of iron and then 1.5, like 1 1/3 belt of copper. So yeah, 6 and 8, that's reasonable because it's 2 different resources, but all 8 on one side is hard to get. Okay, so it looks like we'll actually be just redesigning the outpost today, which we don't really have a good outpost save. We also need to increase our fuel production somehow, but only temporarily. It might be a little bit expensive. I don't know. Currently, we have a decent amount of resources going into, not prod 3s, what are they called? Refineries. Those aren't even similar words. But yeah, we need to, I think we just need to remove, we need to remove red belt from this. Unfortunate, but it happens. It doesn't matter which one I load, because we're actually going to save a new one. Burn 100, finalized outpost. I think. We're going to keep these here just because I don't think they're going to block anything. They're a good way to test performance. We don't need this iron. We do need more copper. We definitely don't need this one. This one's extra. I love how this is just the same thing copied 35 times, because that's how I do my UPS tests. Okay, we also need to make sure that these connections are actually decent. Okay, so what do we have here? Do we have anything here that can't be a red belt? Or that can't be a yellow belt? I don't think we have anything that goes more than 4 tiles, so that's nice. I think belt stubbing, or whatever this is called, I don't know if that's that helpful. It's really useful for the red belts. It's not as necessary now that I have yellow belts. I think it still helps a little bit, but I don't really know exactly how I would test it. Because it's partially for performance and partially for consistency. But it does increase the cost a little bit. What is that? Okay. Why is Discord open? There we go. I just got a pop-up for the Discord overlay and was very confused. Oh, we also need to make... Oh my gosh, steel chests. Steel chests are not something we've been producing. We need 200, so we need 1,600 steel chests per hour. That sounds like a lot. I don't know how much it is relative to what we're producing, though. But I'm pretty sure that doubles our steel requirement. So we have 2,000, right? So I need I said 16,000 per hour? No, that doesn't sound right. No, that's not right at all. 1,200 per hour. That makes way more sense. Because, yeah, we need a little bit over 2 for every factory. Wait, no. It's exactly 2 for every factory. Okay, so that increases our steel requirement. Okay, it's only about 30% more steel. I was really worried that it was going to be proportionally large improvement. Of course, we haven't done... part of that is because we haven't included this in our requirement, so I think it's even less of a steel increase. But these have been producing the whole run, so I'm hoping that we have buffered steel furnaces. We might have to add steel furnaces to our list as well, because we'll need to do some calculations on that, because I really don't know if we'll have those left over. I'm just going to spawn in some landfill. That should be good. Okay, so we should be able to get double this. I think I should be able to stitch them together as well. At least that's how it was originally designed, unless I thought the whole point was I was not going to try to condense it later, but it looks like this is a bit weird. Okay, it's just the top stuff that's a bit awkward. Okay, that's fine then. We can live with that. Okay, so this goes here somehow? Yeah, okay, that's right. I guess since we need to redo all the connections up top, that's fine. Okay, so I think this is right. Now I do need to count all the lanes. We're copper limited, I think. It's hard to tell. We need to delete some stuff and let it run for a bit. But I want to say we're copper limited. I really wish we didn't have to use steel chests, but unfortunately that is a necessity for performance. Steel chests reduce how many inserters I need by a pretty decent chunk, which is annoying because they are way more expensive. But the saved inserters for the outpost is a lot higher than the increased inserters in my base to run the steel chests. Especially since the ones in my base will idle, these ones won't. I could do like 1 iron chest at the end. Maybe that could work. I'm not sure. How much more expensive are they? It's only like 5 times, right? I don't know. I think it's 8 iron versus 8 steel. Yeah, okay, so it's only 5 times pricier for something that's not consuming a ton of iron in the first place. I don't think I have to stress about that. Okay, so what are we limited by? All of the belts are backed up. That doesn't give me any information. Oh, I should delete the furnaces. We need to pause it for that, though. Otherwise, things will break. Because right now there's backed up iron in the furnaces. That's also unrealistic. Okay. We're trying to see what the bottleneck is. Because I think we're limited by iron. But that affects my estimate significantly. Okay, we are iron limited. So that means if we can get 4 belts of iron... Wait, that's 3? Wait. Oh. Wait. I'm confused. Am I only going for 12 here? How many green chips per hour is this producing right now? 3.6, so we double that. Or 3.8 per minute times 60. That's 220k per hour. Okay, so this is going for 450k per hour. If our goal is 7 million, divided by 450, that's 15 outposts. Okay, so I think this is the size I expected. I was thinking it processed 4 lanes of resources, but I think it only processes 3. So I think my estimates are fine. We might be able to get larger patches, though. Because that's the thing. The way we had this set up originally we had it balanced around finding a copper patch that was mostly full size and not being picky about iron. But now, since we can get 2 small copper patches, if we're just incredibly picky about iron, we might be able to get more drills. I don't think that's that actually no, I don't think it's likely at all. The only way to get an extra resource would be to make this a circle. And burner drills don't really have a great option to form a circle, unfortunately, so I think we're stuck with 3 belts of resources. Yeah, it looks like we can pretty consistently get 3 belts of resources, though. A lot of patches match that. But yeah, with having the burner inserters require, or the burner drills require a burner inserter, that makes it a lot harder to make a circle. Because, you know, normally if you had drills, you can make things circular pretty easily because you don't have a fuel belt messing with things. But when you need a fuel belt and an output belt for every drill, that removes any like dense option you can get to fill in the edges. Because like I could get an extra drill here on the edge, but I would only be able to get like what, half a lane more. That's not that much. This is yellow belt, right? Actually, wait. This is yellow? Did I? Yeah, okay. I think I knew it was 6 belts of yellow. Yeah. Okay, that part isn't a surprise. Okay, so for iron limited, copper should be produced 50% more than that. So if this is 6, we need 9. That doesn't split evenly, so we're actually going to have probably 5 and 5? Yeah, we'll probably do 5 and 5. Because if we could do... Oh, wait, sorry. No, 6 to 9. So we could actually do 4 and 5. I think that's reasonable. That means I can choose 1 large patch of copper and 1 somewhat large patch of copper, and then 1 slightly smaller patch of copper. Both of them will be smaller than the iron, so we don't have to be picky. I'm hoping it means that we could use like this iron patch and then maybe use like this copper and this copper. Or like this one right here. Has good access to 2 copper patches that work. I don't know how we're going to get 15 outposts, but we're going to try. I really want to make sure these are working properly, but I don't think we can. Weird undergrounds for iron ore is output is to pair outer lane with inner lane. If you're talking about these, are you talking about these things? Okay, none of these matter at the moment. This is just, I need to do a performance test, so I just connected things as easily as I could see them, and then I realized I forgot a splitter for the iron patch. So it's not, functionally they don't do anything that matters. The whole reason was I forgot to include this belt here, and the easiest fix was to just awkwardly add splitters. And since this was just a test, it didn't make it clean. Would have taken too long and it would have been deleted anyway, so it didn't matter. But yeah, I think... Okay, I don't think yellow belt is actually going to be as bad as it feels. The issue is this doesn't really tessellate very well. Actually, it does, but it's a little bit awkward. So we need to like copy the middle section. And then I think there's a pattern. Okay, now this brings up another question. If we do... We could double the width. This might not be a bad idea. Because right now it has to use red belt and then drop down to yellow. It makes it really long. But what we could do... we're going to duplicate it while I mess around with this. I don't know how the size will work, but this is also an option to make it really wide that way. How would that look if I were to look at an iron patch here? So let's scroll over. Let's say we use this iron. Oh gosh, there's so many like almost usable things that we'll be covering. That's a shame. So let's say we place it here. We have iron here, and copper here. That means these are almost usable. That means these are actually kind of usable. If I were to position it, if I positioned it a little bit over. Wait, we don't have flexibility. We don't have a ton of flexibility here. Because what we're going to do is the blueprint that pastes the assemblers is going to be combined with the iron blueprint, I think. So that way things can start buffering up fuel, and then copper will connect afterwards. That is currently the plan, at least. We'll see how it works out. But that means I don't have the luxury to move this here. Yeah, that means I don't have any luxury to like place this a little bit better to save a patch. So we can probably assume this would be a lost cause. But that's fine. There's plenty of patches not that far from each other. But the width, the extra wide doesn't seem... It doesn't seem awful. It's a lot better than I expected, at least. Whereas if I were to have my original length one... Honestly, this feels like it blocks more. Because, like, I could definitely use the iron here. I don't know if I would, but I feel like that would be usable too, whereas a long patch would block it. I wish I could, like, rotate things. I guess I could also just, like, try to find different patches. Maybe it doesn't matter in terms of... Yeah, I don't think... I don't think wide versus long is going to make a significant difference in how easy it is to find patches, because both of them are unreasonably large, unfortunately, due to the nature of burner inserters. Hello, Good Green. Welcome, welcome. Oh, wait, I should probably disable those. What's the... Okay, what are the pros and cons? This version is built. This version is already designed. However, I have to redesign a lot of it anyway to use yellow belt, so how much work will that be? Actually, not that much. Or is it a lot? Hold on. What is this? What are these patches? Oh, wait. Hold up. Is this a lot harder than I thought it was? I think if we keep the same length, we don't necessarily have an option to use yellow belt. Unless we get rid of our belt stubbing. You never caught the end of the belt collision run? How did it go? It went pretty good. It ended up being a lot more problematic during the bot phase than I thought it would be. Because we started running into crossing undergrounds, because I included that one as well. So it turns out that this one right here, you do that a lot when connecting bots. It's very hard to avoid it. So I was pretty pleasantly surprised that it kept being a problem even during the bot phase. I did run into weird, I think, bugs with like if I had something like this and I tried to fix it, it stayed broken a couple times. I couldn't figure out exactly how to reproduce it or what caused it. But we definitely had some lanes that we fixed that didn't run unless I like completely deleted the belts. So that was fun. Was not prepared for that. Our steel lane was broken for a very long time without me noticing. I think it had to do with how I was like trying to fix half of it but not all of it. I don't know. Or flipping belts. It never happened when I placed stuff by hand, but when I was fixing things remotely, it didn't like that. Oh, you haven't been able to reproduce it either. Excellent. Yeah, I just could not figure it out. Like, I knew it had something to do with me trying to, like, half-ass a fix remotely. Or at least that's what it felt like. Because it was always when something was broken. Because it basically was like, I did this, broke it, and then I fixed it, but it still is broken. Sometimes the dummy entities stay behind. Oh, is that's how they work? Fake entities? Where is this? Also, where's this copper belt? Does this need to be yellow? Wait, why are these yellow? Hold on. Or why are these... Why are these red? How many furnaces are these going into? 34. Oh, well... I'm trying to see if I can keep these as yellow. This might... Why are these red belts? I don't see why they're necessary. It's really hard to count them, too. Okay, so if we count all the furnaces and divide by 2, I think we're good. Okay, that's the strat. Yeah, okay, all the middle ones. 53. What's one belt? 12? Oh, hold on, I'm getting a call. What do you mean by low tier? It's not burner everything. I am not a fan of that mod. It doesn't interest me. I think it's much more interesting to do vanilla and just limit yourself to whatever vanilla has that are burner options, because having to supply power and stuff, I think, is a fun combination, as opposed to just making everything use cool. Low tier means, oh yeah, no, not at all. We're doing a 100. We're going for a 100% run. Using low tier only means you have no design challenges you have to overcome. It means you have no design challenges to overcome because you have one design using gray assemblers and that's it. So you never have to consider modules. You never have to consider like, oh, are red belts useful? So it really just removes a lot of like complexity and just makes it slower. So we don't have anything like that. But we are going for a 100% run. So we can use whatever we want. We can only use burner drills, burner inserters, and no electric furnaces. But everything else is on the table. Because if we were to do low tier 1, it would just add like probably 12 hours. I think it would double the time at least. Maybe more because of UPS limitations. I would guess it would be about at least 100% slower. But this means we can do fun things like try to figure out how we can run a yellow assembler using direct feeding, which leads to some cool designs. We've been working on the design for a while. I'm hoping to run it this month. I've done a run before blind like this. I've done a run like this blind. It took like 33 hours, but with blueprints, I think we can do it in about 12. Someone you know is planning a run without using undergrounds or splitters. I did that. I've done that. It was fun. You've made some interesting developments regarding sushi because there are no circuits either. Oh, that's fun. We ended up using, we didn't use any circuits or sushi for anything. We used cars and tanks a lot though. Like, military tanks. As ways to pass multiple resources through a single belt. So we used them as filters, which was fun. We didn't use a ton of them, but like if I needed to get red chips and blue chips over here, I passed them through a tank. Because you could use a long inserter, but that long inserter is to pass over a belt only worked if there was one resource. So we basically use the tanks as filter splitters, effectively. Or filter inserters. Filter inserter to undergrounds. It was fun. And the best part is, when I uploaded that, or the VOD for that, I think if this is the one, I got 2 comments by people saying it was a clean base, which I think that made me feel bad. That was the only run I've done where people said my base looked clean, and I didn't use splitters. You don't have longer filter inserters either. Nice. I like how every time you mention it, it's adding a condition. It just makes it seem a lot different than the original like 2-word description you gave. If it's not required by gameplay or rocket ingredients, then I can't use it. That's interesting. So like if it's not required for a science, basically, or one of these two. Yeah, I don't think we can downgrade these to yellow. But okay, so we have to do the fat lane. There's probably a better description I could have used for that, but we have to do the extra wide one. And now we just need to see. Okay, I'm gonna do a lazy approach right now. Oh, that won't work. Okay, we're gonna do a lazy approach, but we have to set it up by hand, which makes it a little bit less lazy. Wait, what happens if you do that? Wait, you can just swap them? I've never done that before. That's fun. I figured it would exclude it. Okay, I need to see how many run without red belts. That's the only thing that matters right now. I could delete it. I guess since we can run it at a high speed, we can just remove it entirely. See how the delay is. Deleting the red belt shouldn't break anything. I don't think we have anything that goes more than 6 tiles. I hope we don't. You designed an underground belt using nothing but belts and inserters, and you can't even build all of it because it requires priming. Yeah, priming things definitely complicates stuff. Why are these not running? Aw, man. Okay. We did use the 6 length. That's annoying. That means we have to spend a little bit more time on it. There's a really lazy approach, but it could break things, but it could also work. Actually, I think it'll work. And that should fix it. And then we do that again next time the iron stops, which is here. Okay. It's really weird. It's really difficult to do any form of calculation using inserters. That's why we're doing it this way. Burner inserters have weird limitations. It's almost never limited by the assembly machine speed. You're limited by some weird combination of inserter and assembly machine speed. So empirical tests generally are the easiest to do. It abuses the near lane priority of inserters. Ooh. Oh, that... Yeah, I can see that, because it always grabs the closest one. Wait, I guess... Oh, wait. If we know we're iron limited... Okay, the easiest option, if I just say... We do 12 furnaces, maybe that'll work. I think we just guess, and if we realize it's off, we expand it. That might be our best option. Probably should have saved before I did that. But since we have to redo almost anything anyway, it's not a huge deal. But that looks like it's consuming exactly a full belt. Or almost a full belt. Not exactly, because things back up. Yeah, that's 12 and 12. We can make that work. This weird curve at the end I don't like. The belt stubs complicate things. I don't know if they're necessarily better. They do help with the consistency, which is nice. Okay, let's copy one. Yeah, let's just start building things and see what happens. I think that's our best bet. Trying to do it logically is rough for something that's already been condensed. Okay, so this is 24. Is that 12 on one side, 12 on the other? Okay. So this is where it stops. I do have something like that, because I would, if I'm doing a run like that, I think using the burner everything mod would also be a really fun addition. So I would probably combine those. I wouldn't say it counteracts the speed downsides, it just makes it less awful. What you would need a mod that also allows nuclear fuel to be mined with burner drills. That would change things. Because if you go up to rocket fuel, you have what, the speed of a normal long inserter, or does it have its own acceleration values? I haven't looked too much into it. I just assumed it kept the basic one. That's a really easy mod to make. Yeah, it might exist. Because I feel like I've seen that in... Maybe. I was going to say I think I've seen that in mods, but now I don't actually know. It is based on vehicle acceleration. Okay, so if you get rocket fuel, you basically have a long inserter. A long inserter speed. Nice. Okay, so this is where I cut it. That actually doesn't cut half of it. That makes me think that the ratios are not right. Oh, it's because we gave it like 2/3. Okay. Yeah, it's because it's very weirdly balanced. That's fine. Wait, did I cut too much? I might have cut too much. I think at some point I had them... Okay, I did cut too much. So we need to cut it by hand. I think at some point I had the wires connected weirdly, and I'm pretty sure I fixed that. So that way logic is only determined by the power pole below it, so that way I never cut the lane. It looks like I did fix that. If you're wondering what the logic is, or if anyone's wondering what the logic is, one way to make burner inserters a little bit better. You can't do it everywhere because of performance issues, but if you have a couple critical inserters, you can make it that they don't run until fuel is backed up. So to make it work with underbelts, we have the very unsafe inserters tied to logic, and it reads this belt at the top. So whenever fuel backs up, those inserters can run. Those are the ones that I deem unsafe. So that's a pretty important design philosophy of the entire run. It's been very useful though. Very happy with how that has worked out. But yeah, burner inserters are really really bad. The only ones that are unsafe here generally are the ones grabbing away from the belt. This one isn't great. This isn't perfectly safe, but it's probably fine most of the time. Okay, now we need to downgrade stuff. We'll downgrade everything and then see what we need to change, I guess. What is that doing there? Oh. Wait. What are we Tesla doing? I think right now we redesign the middle. I think we redesign the middle and then we figure out how to copy the middle. Because each row should be the same. It's technically possible to make this more compact, but if you make it more compact, it's almost impossible to fix ever, which is not great. I really do not want to have to do that. I think this is just supplemental iron, so I don't think we need that anymore. That exists. Oh, that's why it's built with yellow belt. Okay. Yeah, because this was just supplemental iron when I realized I connected things wrong. So we need 2 lanes of iron, so that's 1 here. So we still do need a supplemental iron. I just need to figure out where. I could use this one. That's actually not a bad idea, because if we piggyback off this lane... Yeah, okay, that's a good option. So we piggyback off this lane until we get 12 furnaces down, which is right here. And then we can completely just stall that. Actually, we could keep the splitter there. And now we send this over. Okay, I think that converts it. We still have some undergrounds that we need to get rid of. That has to at least go there. Okay, that's one entity. You're not seeing any... Honestly, that's surprising. I don't... Actually, no. No, it's not. Burner inserters suck. One One thing I would really like to see in the expansion is improved burner inserters. Because they have a lot of issues that would slightly be fixed by if they had like a minimum speed. Because like the biggest problem with using burner inserters, other than the fact that they're slow and awful, is that they can die and you're kind of stuck with them, right? Like if they die, you can't fix them without manual intervention, which is not great. Can I save that? I can. That's not worth it. So if they had like a minimum speed so they could at least eventually grab fuel again if they brown out, would be really, really useful. Like even if it was like 10%, it would eventually, the belt would eventually back up and they would feed themselves. Would be great, but it would make them somewhat usable and really, really useful for things like RCUs. Because then there's no downsides, because those are so slow. You don't even need to supply fuel. Improve them. Improved equals removed. I think you're onto something here. No, you're definitely onto something. Okay, and then how many copper drills do I have? Okay, so I have 30 copper drills, 24 furnaces. So we can't actually run this much because we're limited to 12 and 12. So we probably need to cut this bottom one. And then I think that fixes it. So if we go... Where's the copper drills at? That's this. That's these middle rows. That's 33. Wait. Why did the number get higher? The number got a lot higher. Best part is burner inserter trying to grab fuel from blue belt turn. Honestly, burner inserter just trying to grab belt from blue belt. Trying to grab fuel from blue belt in general is rough. Blue belt churn is like just even worse. Somehow it's worse than hell. They could do a thing like trains in 2.0 where you can put a foot pedal them like the Flintstones. Allow it to operate at a much slower swing speed. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I didn't realize they're adding that to trains. That's really cool. Or is that only for trains you're driving? Yeah, I definitely doubled up on the copper furnaces that I counted. But 30 seems high. Because I counted here with like 4 less furnaces and somehow it only went by 4, so I don't know what we're messing up. Do we wait for manual train runs in 2.0? Oh my gosh. I have to use trains and they can't have fuel. That would be hilarious, actually. Okay, we decided we don't need this lane anymore because we're limited on iron. I guess I have to decide, do I want to be iron balanced or copper balanced? I probably want to be iron balanced just because that gives me a different number, an easier number to scale with. Actually, no, we have to be... I don't actually get a choice. I could use a little bit of red belt. Because the thing is, I'm trying to remove some red belt requirement. I don't need to remove it all. Like 10 extra undergrounds won't end me. 1,000 will. Oh, you do have to manually drive them. Okay, when you specified out of field trains in general, I figured it just meant everything. This seems okay. I think I'm just going to accept that I will use a small amount of yellow belt. That should be fine. That's not the end of the world. And then there is a small chance that this alone might actually make the difference, right? No, never mind. Maybe. Because I feel like we're only like 2 furnaces off on each side of being a full belt. Ah, you thought I meant remote driving. Wait, what's remote driving? Yeah, I don't know what that means. Like selecting what guesses do I have for that? I don't think I have any guesses what that means. You can drive them from the map, you know. Oh, it's a new thing. Okay. Gotcha. that makes more sense. That explains why I couldn't figure out what it was. But I think this looks decent with yellow belt. It's significantly cheaper. It's really hard to overstate how much cheaper it is. Now we delete it. Actually, I'm going to make a copy of it first. We'll build next to it before I delete things. Just in case I delete. So we actually need to tessellate. We'll copy all but the furnaces, I think. That should be easy enough to fix. Well, not now, but in 2.0. Yeah, I assumed that's what the now meant. Just because if it's not a feature in the game, I'm assuming it's always referring to the 2.0 expansion. It's close enough, right? 6 months is now. Is it? Actually, is it? Has anybody heard anything? Are they still expecting to come out this year? Because that would be great. But I'm skeptical. And then, okay, we need a splitter here as well. Actually, do we need a splitter there? No, we need to copy this over here. Okay, and then I'm pretty sure we still have some undergrounds that are a bit too long. Like this one. This saves a lot of entities. I think this is worth the extra cost, because that saves about 2 entities? Oh, that saves 1 entity, never mind. I don't think 1 entity is worth the underground. There haven't been any updates on timing, so it's probably either late this year or early next year if there's some delays. Okay, that's not too bad. I mean, it's not like I'm in any huge rush. I also still need to play... Somebody suggested I play Janky 2.0. I don't know if that's what it's called. But it's just a compilation of all the mods that... Or a lot of mods that add functionality similar to 2.0. But in a much jankier way, because they're just mods and not like... game engine overhauls. Which I think that would be fun. Is is that his name? Oh yeah, yeah, right, to try to mimic the quality modules. Yeah, I want to do that one, and I feel like if I can combine it with something that adds slightly more like post-game stuff, like extra rockets, I feel like I could just pretend it's the expansion. I think that would be a good meme run. But I think this looks all right. We're gonna give it some fuel and see if we are very wrong, because we we might be. And there's a lot of things to connect right now, so we're just gonna connect them by hand. Okay, so this is fuel and iron. This is fuel and iron. Okay, side technically matters, but it's not that important, so we can just go with whatever. 5 dims mods would literally be insane. What's 5 dims? Is that a person? Wait. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Is that a mod pack? Where is it? Where, or not where is it? Where's the loader? There we go. I always lose them. 10 tiers of literally everything in the game. Oh god. That sounds like a lot of tiers. Where's my no tier shampoo? Where's my no tier shampoo? It's needed here. Okay, 5 dims with the apostrophe. So it's a person or something like that. Something like that sounds like I'm saying they're not a person. I don't like the wording I chose there. I don't know what else could mean. A person or group. That's what I meant. That's what the distinction was supposed to mean. Okay. This looks okay. We need to check to see if there's actually fuel going through, and then we need to run it for a little bit to see if we're missing undergrounds, like this one. How are we missing? How did we mess that up? Okay. Oh, because we fixed it in the middle. We didn't fix it up here. Okay, that should be fine. That should be okay. Like Bobs or Angels or Pteranodons or Phasmas or Crastorio. People are not creative with their name. Honestly, it didn't even occur to me that Crastorio was named after someone, but that makes sense. Because it's not like the mod is crass. Okay, and then it belts here. Okay, if I use a splitter, it might be worth one splitter here. Because what this will do is make the fuel balance a little bit better for 3 extra entities. I can swing that, I think. The weird thing is why is it not symmetrical? That is concerning. I feel like this and this should... Oh, I removed the splitter. Okay. Gotcha. That's why it was different. Oh, but this is no longer belt stubbed. Okay, never mind. It's not worth it. Yeah, makes sense now. Now that you pointed out, Crestor sounds like a person. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I decided not to try to save this entity. That would make it go like this. Oh wait. If I turn it first. Okay, it saves 2 entities. Oh wait. This is pretty short. This can be on the same step, I think. Maybe. Actually, no. We should leave. We should leave it. Yeah, I don't want to mess with something, just in case I break it. Let's leave it. It wasn't hurting anyone. This is fine. Pretty sure this splitter doesn't do much, but just in case I go back to the splitter design, I'm totally fine spending 1 extra splitter here, or what will amount to multiple extra splitters here. Okay, and then this does not tessellate, right? So we're still fixing that. That's fine. So it looks like we actually have the same thing copied down roughly 1, 2, 3. At least 3 times, but possibly 6, because I think there's 2 for every Roboport. So this is a lot more manual than I expected it would be. But manual fixes are a lot easier to not mess up than trying to deduce what the pattern was, because I made this like 3 months ago. Then we didn't have to work on the outpost for a while. So it's definitely off a little bit. Okay, these have not produced anything. That's a bad sign. Oh, they're missing power. That's fine. The assembly machines don't have power. Okay. I was really worried we messed something up. We royally screwed something up, but we're good. Creative mode. I really miss, what was it called? Editor extensions. Editor extensions has conflicts, very significant conflicts with the stage blueprint planning mod that I've been using. So we kind of almost fully corrupted our base by having it on. So we're not risking that again. We fortunately had some backups, but whenever we tried to generate a new stage, it deleted like everything. And we had to just manually copy everything to a new save. It was fun. Would not recommend. Okay, I think these are still partially disabled. But these are working decently. Do we have all the researches we need? Okay. Okay, we are copper limited. That makes sense. I think we knew that was an issue. I think I didn't connect... I don't think the copper is balanced properly. Actually, I don't think it matters, though. Okay, so if we can try to get a little bit of extra copper down, that could be nice. But I don't see a great way to do that. Because we could, like I said, we could connect copper here. And what that would do is it lets us run 2 more furnaces. That's not terrible. But how many more do we need to run? Actually, we only need to run about 2 more furnaces. That might actually be okay. That's a very cheap fix. Another option, if this is a red belt, this splitter also needs to be a red belt. That's not too bad. We can afford... So this would be copied about... How wide is it? I don't actually remember. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this will be copied 12 times. So if we add a splitter here, and we also add one here, we're only increasing the requirement by 24 splitters. This would force red belts onto train. Well, red belts are already going to be on the train. Red splitters might not be, though. So it would make us need to add splitters. But we need red undergrounds for connecting the patches, so that part we at least fine in. Is the bottom right half side not supposed to be moving stuff? The way that we have it tessellate, it doesn't work if you just build the middle, so we should probably fix that before we try to fix the copper thing, huh? Because the way this got iron from the one next to it, it got those 6 furnaces got half their iron from the outer lane. So yeah, let's fix that, and then let's try to reevaluate the copper. That's probably a better option. I thought we were furnace limited. I feel like something is off here, but I don't know what. Oh, is it because we switched to efficiency modules? Copper is backing up, and that's weird to me. But iron is also limited. But iron is the limiter. So it could just be that the full lane has to back up in copper before things start running fully, but I mean, that's a ratio of 3 to 2. It's really weird to me that these are backing up, because we have furnaces in a perfect ratio. Oh, it hasn't fully activated yet. I think we might have destroyed the logic. Wait. Yeah, this isn't working. I feel like it should be working by now. So something is wrong, I just don't know what. We're reading this belt, we're reading this belt. I don't see the problem. Okay, so these are disabled by control behavior. It's connected to this. Let's follow the green wire. Green, green. We have to look at the original design to see how what I had it connected to. I'm pretty sure we just moved some splitters around on accident, and then when we undid it, it didn't fix it. Because it does matter which one connects to where. I think green is for iron lanes, and then red is for copper. And then the supplemental iron lanes we also need to read from. Okay, I think I see it. So we just need this to go. Well, that's going there. So this one needs to read from that. I think that's all we did. Oh, that makes sense why it wasn't copied, because this didn't used to be here. It used to be like a combo that was a little bit higher. So yeah, it was deleted in the change. Okay, so I think that's the only thing it was missing, because I see a green wire here, I see a red wire here, red wire and green wire. They should only have 4 total wires. So I think that's fixed. Now we delete it and we let it start again. Just because if we don't do that, it's going to take forever for the copper to clear itself. Because the way this is set up, actually we might be able to show it here, I'm not sure. Yeah, there's a chance we can show it here. But the way it's set up, because of the logic on the inserters, it has slightly more production for just like a few minutes right here. Like it peaks and then it drops by a few percent. And that's when, this is when everything is backed up in the furnace and the assembly machines run full time. And that only happens early on before the logic kicks in, and then it levels out. So we just have to run it for a few minutes of game time before it actually gives us an estimate. But this tracks, we are very limited on copper. Yeah, I don't know why we're that limited on the copper, though. Oh, that's 24 furnaces. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Yikes. Okay, so 24 copper furnaces only goes down to here. I feel like, I swear I get a different number of furnaces every time, and still have not figured out why. Okay, so yeah, it stops about here. That makes sense. So we need to run another 13. So we need to get another half belt of copper down here. I don't think shortening it again would be a good idea. I think our best bet is to try to get more copper. But how do we pass that through? We could pass it through the outside. Like over here, we could pass through a lane. We could also do red belts. This is a lot of red belt, though. I didn't mind the idea of just a little bit of red belt, but with how far we have to get it down, that ends up being 13 splitters. So that's still about 100 splitters per outpost, which is a lot. That's like 2 or 3 stacks on the train. Yeah, I think we just accept that there's an underground. And then hopefully let's try to actually count the copper correctly for once. 48 total. Nope, we did not count it correctly. We keep counting a slightly different amount every time. Okay, so 24 plus 12. Okay, so we need exactly 1 half lane of copper, and then we're good. That should be easy to get. And by easy to get, I mean not unbearable to get, but still not great. So we need to get a half lane here, we need to get a half lane here somehow. There's really not that much space. There's no space unless we move substations around. Like, there's really not a way to sideload this. I guess, well, okay, so we would be sending probably a little bit over half lane of copper. If we switch which side fuel is on, we could just do a side load like this. That's not impossible. Okay, I think I like that option. Because as far as I know, it doesn't matter that much which side of the belt the fuel is on, mostly because of the logic that we have on it. So we don't need to be extra careful by changing the sides. So that lets us do supplemental copper here. And then we're just going to do a test on the side to see how many undergrounds that will be. That does add 50 entities. So multiply that by 12. So that will add, let's just call it 600. I know that's what 50 times 12 is, but I don't know if that's an accurate estimate. But we can probably say it's going to add about 600 total entities to the outpost. To save 100 splitters, that seems worth it. Because I really don't think I need to. I don't want to have to automate splitters at a rate of 2,000 per hour. That's a lot. That's a lot of electronic circuits that we don't really have. Now, if we can split the belt halfway down, we could save even more. But I don't really see a great way to do that. Unless we brought like 1 underground. Because it stops here. This is where it needs to go. If we bring a belt of coal, or if we bring a belt of copper through here, then we split it. We sideload 1 here. And then we need to sideload the other over here. This is already a max length, but we can move this up a tile. So if this goes up 1 tile, we can do an underground through here. Does that fix anything? No, it does not. Okay. What about through here? Everything is almost functional. Like, everything is almost long enough, but everything's 5 tiles. We could do a red belt, because we do need red belt. Red belt will be in the outpost, regardless. Splitters are probably not necessary in the outpost, but at least not that many. So I could afford 1 underground. Check latest wires to belt. I believe it defaults to enable disable. Oh, right. It's actually good. So it looks like all we somehow removed was the logic. I'm guessing, I don't know how. Oh, I know what it was. We copied this. We didn't just rebuild it by hand. We just copied the other one, so that keeps the logic. It just doesn't keep the wire connections. That makes sense. So it wasn't going off of the default. Okay. Yeah, I think I like this idea. 1 red underground is definitely better than 50, or what will amount to like 30 yellow belts. So we can afford a red belt. But there's also a chance that we don't need it. There's still a strong possibility. I say that, but I doubt it. You tried to check my bitrate was questionable. Yeah, it doesn't like the high speed. I don't need to run into high speed right now. That should help a little bit. If I move, I think we need 2 red undergrounds actually, because I'm looking at this. We would need to sideload here, because this is when it starts to run out of copper. Yeah, so we need the sideload there. If we could do it earlier, maybe that would work. Everything is staggered in just the right way to where there's no spot to sideload things, and it's awful. I mean, technically, I can sideload onto an underground. But the issue is now we have iron issues. So we don't actually solve anything by that, because it still can't pass through this. Oh, wait. Oh, wait, it can. Okay, so we can sideload here. And then we can sideload. And don't worry, we'll switch the sides the fuels are on, so I'm not too worried about that part of the sideloading. I know right now it doesn't work, but it should work pretty easily. So yeah, we could do like a splitter here. That should be fine. So that sideloads it onto the close side. Now we need to sideload over here, which has the exact same problem. Oh, it's so easy to do without a red belt. I'm tempted to just take the 10 entity hit. I think we're gonna take the 10 entity hit, because this is so reasonable. Yeah. Let's not be insane here. We are gonna build it backwards, which is a little bit weird, but it's functional enough. Okay, maybe it's not a 10 entity hit. I might change my mind once I get these all built. These are flipped. That's weird. Hello, Max Anger. Welcome. Hello, Psychomilf. I read that as milk at first. I did not read that right. And I still don't think I read it right. But hello. Yeah, this is it's a passion project. We've been working on the design for a while. We're pretty close. We have to make some final changes to this base before we can finalize the main base. Because the gist of 100% runs, you get every achievement. And there's one achievement in particular that sucks. This one is like 90+% of the requirement of the entire run in terms of production. So you end up running into performance bottlenecks. So we're trying to make an outpost that is at least somewhat UPS optimized, but also speed optimized, but also it's birder inserters. So it has a lot of ifs and conditions. Obviously it needs more fire. So true. Okay, this is actually still getting resources. I think if I sideload here, oh wait. We're doing two half belts, and we only need 1 half belt. So I think if we sideload here, we're good, but we could sideload a little bit lower as well. Like we could also sideload here. They're both valid options. Also, this is just a free entity save. Nice. Cool. I'll take it. I will take it. Oh, right. I just remembered. We need a second version of this outpost that can run for longer. You know what? We're not gonna do that today. Maybe we don't need a second outpost. We definitely need a second outpost. I'm just, if you can't tell, I don't want to have to do it. But yeah, let's do the higher side load. I think that's a good option. Because this is, the higher it is, the more entities it saves. So this is adding a total of probably 800 entities. By not having the side shared, right? No. It's adding 400 by not sharing the same side. That's not a ton in the grand scheme of things. That is 2,000 entities per hour to save 2 red belt. But the thing is, I couldn't really figure out how to get the red belt in the first place. Like, I wasn't even sure if red belt fixes things. Oh, wait. Red belt very easily fixes things. Never mind. Um, oh, wait. Does it? I think it does. Okay, I think I see the fix. I wish we were sideloading onto the different sides of the belt, but that's okay. Basically, we need a splitter here, and then this will prio. And the reason we have to do the prio here is because we need a full... Actually, we don't, but we need to make sure that most of the stuff on the right side of the belt goes here, just for saturation purposes. And then we sideload onto a red belt, or a yellow belt. Actually, a yellow belt is fine. And by forcing this sideload here, we make it that they run probably fairly decently. And then we'll send a... if we do a double sideload, that also works, though. Maybe we do that. This works better, but it does use more entities. It's like 4 more entities, right? Okay. The fact that it works better, I think, means it's worth it. Then maybe if we move this up, that saves 1 entity. Okay. I don't think performance-wise there's going to be a huge difference. Okay, so this reduces it to a single red belt. I can live with that. And by having the double side load, it means it doesn't matter how the ore is balanced. Because if we don't have the double side load, we need to do the side load in the beginning and have a balancer there. So we do save entities not having to have a balancer at the beginning. So I think we're good. And this just needs a full belt of copper. It doesn't actually use a full belt of copper. It uses half a belt, but we're just going to send it a full belt because it doesn't matter that much. And then these need to be flipped. Okay. Good progress. And now we delete this outer layer. And we delete this outer layer and we repaste it. And see if it works. Because I think it does. Pretty sure it's fine. Okay. So hopefully those all have the new supplemental iron lane. These ones won't run and these ones won't run, but the only reason we have this outer lane even pasted is because we just need to do a sanity check. Now we could also, if we extend this a little bit, I think that might be a good idea for whenever resources back up. Wait, hold up, something wrong is happening here. I thought we deleted it. Did we not clear the belt? I don't think we cleared the belt. Yeah, we didn't clear it. We only copied the extra. But yeah, with the original design, we did have stuff kind of looped together at the end. So that way if there's anything extra, things ran a little bit better. But I don't think that's necessarily worth it, because these mostly just idled. I think they had an uptime of maybe like a few percent compared to the rest of the base. It was really not even that. I think they had an uptime of less than like 5%, probably more like 1%. Because yeah, when the iron looks like this, you don't actually have anything extra to worry about. Yeah, so if we had something on the end, every like 1,000 ore maybe we'd get 1 extra circuit. Not the end of the world. This seems really well balanced though. Now we'll need to do a cost estimate, but this seems reasonable. I think I'm content with this. So this is balanced on the iron lanes. I said we have 6 iron lanes. This uses 1, 2, 3. No. Do I have 6 iron lanes? How many of these can I copy? I'm not sure. I'm just going to copy it a bunch of times and then recount. And then we'll need to handle the edge conditions as well. That's something we haven't done. Because like I said, these ones on the end don't fully run. They use the ones from the next lane, the lane next to it. So we'll need to rebalance stuff on the ends, but that's easy enough to do. For now, we can just make up for it by pasting a little bit more. Okay, let's try to count the iron. I think that's 1. This is considered 1. Oh wait, did I copy this wrong? I think I copied this middle one wrong. Because this one is just a fuel lane. I thought the fuel lane was supposed to be used to supplement halfway. Oh, I guess we only need to use one of the fuel lanes. So we do have an extra. We do have an extra fuel lane everywhere. That's fine. By the way, you have an off-topic question. Is there a way to save right part of the tools to the mod set? Oh, these things? I'm not aware of any way. There might be, I don't know, maybe there's a mod that does it. And as long as you don't remove that mod, you're good. But even then, I'm not sure. But yeah, those, if you remove the mods, they get changed. Which I found out one time and I was not happy with it. Okay, so this doesn't actually... It's client-side, so mods can't touch it. Unfortunate. I was hoping maybe it was saved like the toolbars, because I know there's mods that can do toolbar stuff. Okay, so we need to recount the iron, but cut every third one. So this is... How do I count this? How do I count this? Half? Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Half. So we can cut it here, probably. We pasted too many. Is this doesn't feel like it's the right size. Oh, that's why. Okay, it's because we basically made a hybrid approach of our two designs. That's what it was. Weird that it's not a part of the game save. It's kind of part of the game save, right? Because I don't think this is the order I have in the other one. Or is it? It might not. No, maybe it's not. Oh, right. It just looks different to me because I removed some mods. Yeah, never mind. I see what's happening. Okay, yeah, this is what we're comparing to. I'm very confused at why this is so wide. Let's do this. If we count these, this is 12. If we count this is 14. Okay, I think I see that. I understand the issue vaguely, but I don't see exactly what's wrong. But this is 7 furnaces or 7 assembly machines. How much do I really think I can get from a patch? I think that's what's confusing me. So this is 240. That's equivalent to 360. Okay, that's 6 yellow belts. Okay, so I think this was just a very rough estimate of not the size of the outpost that I'll have. That has to be it. This is probably a good size. Now we need to do... Okay, we're gonna copy extra iron. Oh wait, I think we have the extra iron, right? This runs fully. We do waste some furnaces here, but that's an easy fix. Okay, so this is how many we'll be reasonably making. I don't like how this says 7. I feel like this is actually 1 row too many. We could get a 7th. Nah. No, I don't think that's worth it. I don't know, it might be. It's easy enough to change or fix if I change my mind. Okay, so I think this is the final version of the outpost. It feels good to me. It uses very little red belt. We do need to do a comparison. with the original design. So that would be this one. Actually, we don't really have the original design here. Okay, what if we count assembly machines? Let's cut it until it has the same assembly machine count. So this is 78. I thought I needed 112. Very confused. Very, very confused by the amount that I thought I could run. Oh, it's because I was thinking these are run at half speed, so I doubled it, but this is actually run at 2/3 speed. That's it. So it's not double. This is where it's comparable. Okay, that works. I kind of forgot about that part. I think we need to import it. Hold on, I need to go get the blueprint from somewhere else. I forgot that was the one that we messed with just to do a test. So it doesn't have the right number of. It doesn't have any red belt. Like it's not something we can use as a comparison at all, basically. Okay, we'll save this here. Test outpost. We have so many things that are labeled like test outposts. We really need to delete some. I think we just need to take a little bit of time to delete everything we don't need from here. Okay, so this is 59, this is 76. So let's add one row. Then that should be good for the comparison, I think. So like right here, these are now very similar in size. Physical size, a little bit. I think area-wise they're the same. Shape-wise they're obviously a little bit different. But this is probably the max our outpost can do. Okay, so let's do an entity count, or let's get the blueprints. I don't know why I made a new blueprint of this one, considering we just made it. Okay, so old outpost used 600 and 500 here, and 100 and 1100 transport belt and 600 underground. So we use a total of, let's try to add those two together. So this is about 1200. Let's call that 1200. So we probably use about 100 more undergrounds. I'm very surprised. I thought the number was going to be significantly higher by getting rid of red belt. I think a lot of our red belt was unnecessary, is what I'm realizing. I'm pretty sure that we just had red belt going like all the way down. We didn't really think about where it stopped. So we probably could have also just deleted some red belt here and probably saved 2 belts of iron, but having it completely built without red belt is also nice. And then belt-wise, the old design used 1500, the new design uses 14. What? The numbers should be lower. I mean, I'm happy that the numbers are better, but I feel like I'm missing something. I definitely feel like I'm missing something. Because roughly the same amount of assemblers and furnaces. These should be comparable in size. And the fact that we removed red belt means things should be a lot more expensive. Or a lot more entity heavy, but they're not. So we really did not optimally use the red belt, is what I'm realizing. I think most of it was just a 1-to-1 conversion. Okay, well that's good. That's good news. Kind of. Mostly. It's hard to say. Honestly, downgrading this probably would have been as much work as the redesign, so I don't think we necessarily wasted time, but that's what happens when you upgrade something only partially, I guess, by hand. But yeah, this is a good size. We do need this lane. We do still need the belt stubs. We don't need these inserters, so let's get rid of those. Oops. And then halfway down, this can just stop. Yeah, we don't need that belt stub, so we can save some entities handling the edge cases. Nice. Okay, I like that. And then we don't need that one either. Okay. So far, I'm happy with this. We'll see if that lasts. It usually doesn't. But it might be good. Then one more belt stub, and then it can end here. Okay, I don't think we actually need the belt stub at the end. The only reason we're leaving it is because it means if I make a change, it's easier to copy if I leave the belt stub. So it's one extra splitter, and it makes things a little bit easier later. This is weirdly side-loaded. Oh, it's because I deleted part of it. Okay, that's fine. Doesn't really affect anything important. Now for this edge one, I might handle it a little bit differently. Because I could make it, if I put the extra iron on the inside, I just think it makes it a little bit easier to handle. Or wait, do we have enough? No, that's only 12. Okay, so it should just be able to go straight down. Which I guess is what the other lane did too. We don't need that one. Oh, that means we can just delete that entirely. Okay, and then that can be a straight line. That's fine. I like how we don't need every other one. I like those gaps. Just seeing these that I can delete is like, woo, free entities. It's really hard to go wrong with them. And yeah, we really don't need that. We're just gonna get rid of it. Because we have so many other things that were changed, there's really no reason to leave the one belt stub. Okay, I think we have two options here. With the edge handling, I think we can just make it go straight through. Like we did with the other side. Because this is only half a lane, right? That should be 12 furnaces. This should be 12 furnaces. Although that way of splitting it might make it run marginally better. Now we don't really need this iron. Actually, we don't need iron on any of these. We do need the fuel to be side-loaded though, regardless. And that is just because the way we have the logic set up, it's based on half of a belt being full. So if you have more than half a belt being full, it breaks. Inventory is very full. These might be important blueprints. So we'll just toss everything on the ground or in a chest and we'll just delete it. There you go. That works. There's better ways to do it, but the better ways aren't that much better. Also, why was I side loading it like that? That was weird. Okay, then we need another straight belt here, and then another one here, and another one here. And I think this should be good. So if we count them now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have the right amount of iron. Is this the only one we have running? I think these are stopped. These don't run, these don't run. Okay, so we can do an outpost test again, or a performance test again. Of not a UPS not a UPS test or anything, just a outpost size estimate. If we look at it over 10 minutes, we'll see it does do that little spike that I was talking about. Whenever there's a brief moment where furnaces are backed up and then it levels out and then the belt starts falling short again. Which, before I realized this, we thought our performance was a little bit higher than it was. So it was slightly disappointing to learn this. Which, yeah, definitely a little bit disappointing when I realized that my performance was going to be 10% worse. But still not bad. This produces 6.3k per minute. So let's say we aim for 7 million per hour. So that's 6,300. Wait, don't I have a calculator mod? That way it's visible. Okay, so we have 6,300 per minute. That is 376 per hour per outpost. Divided by... Oops. Forgot how to use this kind of calculator. Okay, that's million divided by this. We need 19 outposts. Our goal is 6 outposts an hour. That's 3 hours of outposting and then another like 2 hours. The outposting phase is... Okay, so that's like 5 hours of outposting phase. Can I increase my goal? I don't think I can, because this is already an incredibly expensive outpost, I think. I don't know. Well, because these are smaller outposts, I can probably just make my goal like 8 outposts an hour. We could also, there's the really possibly awful option. I'm not really sure. Because right now we're connecting 1 iron patch, 2 copper patches. So 1 full iron patch, 2 partial copper patches. There is a small possibility, now the very small possibility, that we could just do 2 iron patches and 3 copper patches to a single outpost, but I think we're losing the benefit of the outpost at that point, and those are just bases. Startup time, I don't think would be that much better with those either because of how far the fuel would have to travel and how much fuel would be wasted on the belt. So yeah, okay, never mind. I think that's a silly idea. I think this is a good size. Now if we compare it to the actual outposts, you know, like what a normal run, I don't know if normal is the right word. This is very disheartening. So our outpost is the same size as theirs, but theirs is significantly better. Because theirs runs basically full speed. Theirs has beacons in it, and all that good stuff. I think looking at the drills is actually the better option. So they actually have 400 drills. Just for the iron, I think, or just for the copper. I'm not sure which one it is, but either way, their production is, I think, double per outpost, something like that. Maybe I should look at the furnaces. Oh, but those are also beaconed. What's a good way to measure production? I don't think there is a great one. Also, what are these? Oh, why do those take? Interesting. I'm not. Oh, they're blacklisted. Okay. They alternate. That makes more sense. I didn't realize they had a full train for the building outpost. It does make sense. I just thought it was a little bit higher. But let's look at the entity cost. Inserter count, their inserter count is 30% lower. Their underground count is 30% lower. Their belt count is a third. And they produce like twice as much. These are so bad. I can't get over that. Also, they use iron chests, which isn't really a huge difference, but it is something. It is a small difference in cost. Really wish there's a way to tell how much this produces. Is it written anywhere? Does anybody just know? Anybody who watches a lot of 100% runs? I guess the more important question is, do I really want to know how much worse the burner outpost is? That's fair. I am curious. I mean, for what it is, I think it's very effective. We can also probably remove some roboports. Can these reach all the way? No. What if we like stagger it? I think a diamond shape is probably a good bet, right? It's like something like that. Saves a lot of roboports. And build speed probably isn't going to be that much lower. There's not a pattern there. I'm realizing. I got off. Let's delete every other, and then we'll delete these ones. Okay, that looks a little bit better. I just figured these probably are not going to be limited by build speed that much. We can probably save the roboports. Because the main thing is we have so many more roboports that will be going to our drills. We can afford for this. This one can run slower, because most of the time it's got to be spent building the drills and waiting for fuel. I do like how the size is similar. I'm surprised. I mean, obviously, it's similar for vastly different production, but I figured it would be a little bit higher. I'm tempted to try to make a circular burner drill, though. Because let's see, if I can handle the edges, we can get up to, what would that be? We're at 40. We're at 40 drills. 240 drills. So if we could get up to 280 drills, how much of an improvement is that? It's a little bit under. It's like 15%, right? That's not right. Things were definitely not multiplied correctly. I double pressed something. It's about a 17% improvement. Okay. So we are looking, I said, what was that, 18 outposts? Pretty sure. Something in that realm. So that I accidentally pressed divide. My mouse controls are not what they used to be. Or my mouse accuracy is definitely not what it used to be. Oh, that's actually a lot. That's a very significant difference. That's, yeah, okay. So if we can make a circular iron outpost, that can get us 1 extra belt of iron, or 2 extra belts of iron. Because we are going to be picky about the iron outpost anyway. That reduces our outpost requirement by 3, which at my current goal is about 10 minutes. So that would save 30 minutes of pacing outposts. I guess we could also raise our goal to 8 outposts an hour. Because the thing is, our outpost requirement is based on resource cost. So if we were aiming for... We were aiming for 6... Which was 720... Okay, so we were aiming for 6 outposts 50% larger than this. So that means with the infrastructure that we've already built inside our main base, we could technically do 9 per hour. Which is mechanically going to be near impossible on a burner, on a controller. So larger outposts definitely is a little bit better. Because yeah, I don't see a world where... Maybe... No, I definitely won't be up to not using a controller for this section. Mechanically speaking, we're going to be limited by that. So a larger outpost, 3 less outposts would be nice. But we'll worry about that. We'll think about that more. The main thing is we now have an estimate for how much belt we need. We don't have the estimate fully done because there's still the fuel belts and stuff like that, and all of this distribution, which is probably gonna be expensive. I did not realize this is where a lot of the belt was. I mean, not most, but like 20%. So let's just add 20% to this for our estimates, and then I think I can be content with that. Also, efficiency modules in these, absolutely no reason for me to... Wait. Oh. Wait. That's not supposed to be... Is that supposed to be there? Hold on. That might not need to be there. Wait. That's... Oh... I see. I see what happened. Okay, so... We might actually have a slightly more production than I thought. What's the easiest way to fix this, though? What is the easiest way to fix this? By hand? I guess. Yeah, things weren't set up correctly down at the bottom. Okay. Oh, that means we missed like an entire... That means like that entire row is messed up. Hopefully it's just that one. This one row. It might not be, but... There's a chance. This could easily be like 5% more production, though, depending on how badly I messed it up. So that's nice. Because, yeah, we definitely, when we were upgrading things, we accidentally clicked on a copper cable assembler instead of the electric circuit assembler. I'm surprised I noticed that. It was such a weird random mistake. Let's see, I think... Oh, we have... Well, this one... Okay, this one's not a speed issue. This one's just a cost difference. Okay, so this does mean our estimate for the outpost. It is smaller proportionally than I thought it was. Yeah, I think it's fixed now, though. That seems to be everything. Okay, these are in the same ratio. If those two numbers are in the exact ratio, I think it means it's fixed. But I also thought things were connected properly, so who knows? Who knows what it actually means? Okay, we will call this outpost Final outpost probably is a reasonable name. We'll also need to stage this somehow. Don't know exactly how. But these numbers look a lot more reasonable. So if we're aiming for 6 of these per hour, we can just multiply all these numbers by 6. I really thought getting rid of red belt would make the entity cost a lot higher than it did. So that's a pleasant surprise. So we need 9,000 yellow belt. We need a little bit under, so let's say 8,000 undergrounds, and then we need 1,200 splitters. They're not hard. It's not hard to get splitters. Just a lot more than I expected. So for the outposts themselves, ignoring the burner drills, we only actually need 2 belts of ore. Oh, that's way nicer. Originally, our estimate was 18 belts of ore. So this is a solid improvement. Very, very solid improvement. Okay, let's transfer over to the actual save. See if we can finish up the belt designs. Also, my GPU hasn't crashed today. That's good. I've been messing around with the overclock on my RAM, so sometimes things get unstable. I'm trying to fine tune it because it wasn't working at its full like 6,000. Gotta love how RAM these days is just always considered overclock. So I've been like just bumping it down a little bit each time because I think I can probably run it at like 5,600 or 5,800, which is reasonable. We can live with that. If I run it at its stock speed, we do have like a 10% performance loss, which is genuinely 2 to 3 outposts. That's like a drop in 1 million green chips per hour, which is significant. Probably about half an hour lost, something like that. But if I can do like 90% of its speed, I think we'll be okay. So how much does this produce? That's the real question I need to ask myself. And what is the easiest way to test that? I don't think there is an easy way to test that. I think we're just doomed. What are they limited by? Fuel, right? Oh, they also just don't have gears. Wait, these don't need gears. Okay, let's do math. I think math is our best option here. Okay, so this needs 7.5 iron per second, 3.75 belt per second. Wait, that's they're a 1 to 2 ratio? I did not realize that they're a 1 to 2 ratio. So what is that? That's like 11? No, that's like 13 or something, right? 13 and a half. Oh, it is 11. Oh, that's not a 5. Okay, yeah, 11.25 entities per second. Or items per second. These can move a little bit under 1.8. We can probably say 1.7. Does anybody know what's the inserter? Isn't there a mod for inserter speeds? Like it shows you belt. But is it just called inserter speeds? I'm pretty sure there is one that shows you belt to, like chest to chest or belt to chest speeds. No, it's not called that. Internet. Is it inserter visualizer? No. Okay, I swear this is real. But I have no idea what it was. Inserter info? Yeah, the wiki would work too. Do you have a link to that? Or like what page it's on? Is it on the individual things? Oh, it's on the general inserter page. Okay. There we go. That will work. So it's up to... It says 1.8. That's chest to chest. Oh, okay. Chest to belt is 1.67. Do you happen to know, is that insert or output? I think that's input. Belt to chest. Oh, wait, chest to splitter, chest to belt. Okay, belt to chest is the one I need. So 1.61. There's so many tables. It took me a bit to find them. Okay, so we can say 1.61. And then we need, so we have 4 of that, so let's call that 6.4. So this actually runs at a little bit over half speed. Honestly, more than I thought. Definitely faster than I expected. I was thinking they would run at like a third speed or something. And then I said we need 9,000 of these per hour. Was my estimate? No, 8,000 of these per hour. Okay. So 11.25 divided by 6.44. Close enough. 1 over 1.75. Oh, I accidentally divided it by the same number. Let's do it in the right order this time. I wish this could use the numpad. Maybe it can. Okay, 57% speed. Okay, and then at max speed, this can produce 1.5 per second. Okay, times 3,600. So that's 3,000 per hour from each one. Oh, this is the bare minimum. Okay, so this is almost exactly how many I need, not accounting for everything else we need. Where's train? That's for Meme Run Mondays. I didn't want to skip the burner designing for today because I hadn't done it for a few days. You're not sure for standing lanes? Is standing when it's like backed up? I mean, as long as it's if I underestimate it, that's fine. Like if they're faster than my estimate accounts for, I'm content. If they're slower, that's rough. But if you want to see a train, we have. I mean, it doesn't really count as a train, but we do have a rail, which will eventually have a train on it. I think. I'm pretty sure we're gonna need to cut this through our entire base at some point, or just accept that it goes around our base. That's also an option. We'll see. So yeah, let's just say we need one more. Now, in iron requirement, this is tricky. It says up to 30. So right now we can get 22.5. If numbers are for backed up lane, then moving lane will be worse. Yeah, but if they're for not backed up lanes, then moving lanes will be better. But it's probably for compressed lanes. We can also just empirically test it as well. I guess it's not like we're locked into this. The main takeaway is that we at least need one more. And we can just add a second one as backup. That seems solid, right? This can't mess up. So these take up to 30 iron per second. We've established that they run at 57% speed. So this is one full lane plus a half lane. Okay, that should be fine. We get supplemental iron from here. We get supplemental iron from here. Okay, so this should have one full lane. I think I need a splitter here. Because I think this actually isn't quite a full lane. Oh, but this should balance this out. Okay, so we can probably assume we're getting enough iron. This is way more underbelts than I thought. Now we need red belts. The test setup used below is with an inserter taking items from a perpendicular belt with items on the far lane only. Okay, so it's like worst. Oh, but it is fully compressed. That's a lot of... Okay. So it's almost best case scenario. I wonder how much of a difference it makes. Probably some. Probably no more than like 10% though. 10 to 20%. So we can do an extra assembler and it's probably okay. And then I did come to the realization that we probably want to accept the performance hit for this. Actually, wait. Now that we're not using red belt, I don't think it matters as much. But productivity modules and beacons, well, not really beacons, but productivity modules are super useful here if we were to have 8 belts of iron going in. Now that we only have 1 to 2 belts of iron, I don't think it's as critical. I could still use yellow assemblers though. Do these still produce fast enough? Let's find out. How many is this? This is not, that's not that many. I think that's an acceptable loss. 1.61 versus 1.71. Yeah, I saw that number. I didn't know what queued up meant. Okay, so that's, yeah, that's reasonable. I'm fine with either of those numbers. As long as it doesn't, as long as it's not like 1.2 or something wild like that, we're okay. Okay, so this still crafts fast enough. Output speed is not limiting. Okay. So I think this is reasonable. We should probably do the same with this as well. It is a little bit inefficient of modules to do this, but it's not that expensive. This is a grand total of 100 modules. We're producing like 3 modules per second or something crazy like that, right? Oh wait, we only have 1 row. We're producing 0.7 per second. Okay, so this is 100 modules. So that's a, yeah, that's a minute of module production, or 2 minutes of module production. I can live with that. Yeah, that's totally fine with me. It just gets you a lot more out of the iron lane, which seems worth it. It's crazy how much gear production we have. I think part of the reason I'm going with the direct feeding is because if I were to go with a beacon setup, you run into iron bottlenecks so quickly that you're not saving that many. Like if I were to beacon this, right? I would have a beacon here. This would run not at full speed. So we're using a beacon. That would probably be able to power a couple of them. But I don't think we can more than double the speed with beacons. So we're not saving a ton. It's a lot different when you have fast inserters. And you can actually like increase it very significantly. So yeah, we can live with that. This belt seems like enough. This, of course, this isn't accounting for red belt at all. Red belt's tricky. I wonder if we can avoid using red belt. I don't think we can really avoid red belt, because the thing is we have to connect the copper belts, and they're pretty far away. So using red belt is like a 70% reduction in entities with how much I have to ship. Because not only can you double up the belts and then split them at the end, because it's twice, it's twice the speed, it also just goes farther. So maybe not 30%, but it's probably 60% reduction in entities. That could be worth it, because we do have some iron here. We just didn't have enough to power everything with yellow belts, or with red belts. Also, we haven't looked at my train system in a while. I don't know where it would be. I think it's in our old design. Before we switched to staged. I think that's... No, it's not that one. Oh, train unloading in main. That sounds exactly right. But yeah, someone reminded me of trains. Because we were doing the train mod the other day. Well, not train mod. We didn't even have a mod the other day. We were doing something that used trains. There we go. That's a better way to phrase it. Oh, and look at that. This is my old outpost. Oh, this is when I was ambitious and I thought one outpost could have like 12 belts of iron going into it, before I realized how hard it is to get more than 4 belts of... How to get more than like 4 red belts from a single patch. I became a train in that one. That's true. I became the tank engine. Did we ever design an... No, we never designed it. Okay. So this was the train setup that we had. And then I think I realized I wanted it to be like a... I wanted it to be a non-standard size train, so we redid it. And this was the train we came up with instead. A 210 or something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it's a 210, which doesn't have maximum acceleration. Like, it's not a... It is slightly slower than like a 2.8, but I couldn't justify 3 locomotives on the end. We didn't need the acceleration that badly. so I opted for a slightly smaller base. But we will need to load these somehow with our outpost. So realistically, I want each train to be... I don't remember. I want to say this is supposed to output 1 yellow belt, or 1 yellow belt per wagon, because that's the maximum you can get from a single train. So our two options, we could either have 1 8-long train. This is what I think we'll be going with, 1 8-long train that feeds 8 rows of, about 8 rows of these. Probably more like 7, because patch size limitations. So it might become a 2-8, and then 2 of those will be fuel. But realistically, we can expect 3 red belts at least. 3 to 4 red belts, depending on patch size. And then the other option was to have 2 loading points with shorter trains. But that runs into the issue of signaling needs to be a little bit better. And then also the size of the outpost was a little bit awkward. Because the thing is, I'm building these by hand. Not completely, but I'm walking to them on foot. And anything that's a rail, I build with bots. So I wanted everything I build with bots to be fairly close together, as opposed to like looping the patch like this one. Although it's possible that we could, yeah, either way we would have to have like some kind of loop on the side that's pretty large with double train. So yeah, this is what I opted with instead. Because the way we'll be attaching future resources to our outpost is via train, because it's a bit unrealistic to attach 3 red belts to like this patch, this patch, this patch, this patch, and this patch. That's a very, very significant ask. Lots of room for error there. So while trains might not be worth it for speed, they're worth it for consistency, and I'll be doing that. This portion of the run will be largely with a controller. So one thing that I have to place, we do power on the way there, we do rail on the way there, we do power on the way back or something. That is very reasonable. If I were to have to do power and undergrounds and try to rotate the undergrounds, I'm pretty sure we would be doomed. So yeah, this is the train design. This one doesn't show the loading, but we just haven't had a reason to work on it for a while. But the general design idea with this this train setup is we ship out fuel, and we ship out fuel, and we ship out, and then we send some of it back. So these inserters all self-feed themselves, but they are attached to logic. So these are all self-feeding. They're on some kind of logic, so they only run if there's enough fuel on the belt to self-feed. Otherwise, they'll brown out, pretty much guaranteed. The wagons are filtered to have like 1 stack of solid fuel in it. So we're good there. This one's not filtered, but yeah, these all just get 1 stack of fuel. So we don't send a full train wagon, but it's pretty darn close. The maximum speed you can output from a train with the stack size we'll have is 1 yellow belt. Actually, it's not even 1 yellow belt. If we get once we get stack size 3, it's a little bit over 1 yellow belt. But or depending on how you set it up. Right now, I think it can handle 20 items per second, roughly. When it's upgraded, it can do almost a full red belt. But that's only if you can have them be direct feeding. If you want them to not be direct feeding and you want them to be safe, then your throughput decreases by like 60%. So we did not opt for that. This does have the disadvantage, as you can see here, it does occasionally back up the inserter. Not the end of the world. It's still worth it, because worst case scenario, you're going to have like 2 backup. So then you have 10 inserters compared to 5. It's not bad. Yellow per wagon, not train. Yeah, well, yellow per wagon. Sorry. I just think of this as 1 train. But yeah, yellow per wagon. So the whole train setup can output 3 yellow belts, or 3 yellow belts, or 3 red belts when it's fully upgraded. Almost 3 red belts, which is terrible ratio. But it's reasonable. So what happens here is they load themselves up. They recycle the fuel to the right. We have this chest here. This is basically just acting as a chest. so that way I can avoid having an inserter constantly moving fuel. This has just enough fuel on it, so that way if all of these fill all the wagons, there's at least enough backed up to guarantee these run. And if there isn't enough here, nothing runs. So that's what this buffer is for. It's literally just acting as a chest without having to be a chest. The final version won't have red belt. It just looked fun and wasteful to do it with a red belt. But we can do it with a yellow belt, and it's much better. This whole thing is going to be redesigned with a yellow belt. We just haven't fully done it because wasn't sure if we'll need trains until today. And then it goes to the main thing, and the way we have it set up, it unloads the first tile first, or the first thing in the chest first, which applies to all types of chests, applies to trains as well. However, they will change their priority if there is fuel in it. So they'll grab enough fuel to feed themselves, and then they'll go back to grabbing from the end. So that's why we recycle the 50 solid fuel. It's so these outserters can be self-feeding. Otherwise, like I said, we would only be able to get 5 inserters per wagon, which is incredibly low. So to get the red belt that we need out of that, we would need like 8. We would need 10 cargo wagons, I think, to get the speed I want, which is a lot. Yeah, it's really cool. And then it recycles all the extra fuel. And then once again, we have the fake chest here, just as an internal buffer, or just a little bit of a buffer. And then it all gets recycled. So we do waste a little bit of inserter actions every time, but it's nothing too major. But I think it's a really cool concept. Works really well. Mostly, like I said, occasionally these back up, but I'd say it works at like 90% speed. And then unloading it, I imagine won't be too complicated, but still haven't decided. We might need double trains, we might need a single train. It depends. Not having chest buffers kind of messes with things, but chest buffers are not that useful when it comes to burner inserters. You basically double the amount of active inserters and double the size of the unloading station, which is why you don't see any chests here. So it's basically you have to make the choice of, do you want your train stations to be twice as big, or do you want them to run like 5% slower? So I figured 5% slower isn't too bad. Because really the only downtime will be whenever the time from this train to this stop to unload. So the downtime's not going to be that bad. At least burners make fueling the train simple. Yeah, you don't have to think about where the fuel comes from. It's just always going to be there. Actually, wait, that's not entirely true, because we're powering them with rocket fuel. So it does require a little bit of extra work. I might not fuel them with rocket fuel. But I do have to have a second rocket fuel system that will be next to it. We'll see. I don't know if the acceleration matters that much. Not with the 8 long train. We might survive. And I could make it triple-headed. That's also an option. I think our locomotive requirement is going to be a lot higher than I think it is. I'm not looking forward to that. We are currently producing locomotives on our base. I just don't know. I don't know if we're producing enough. But yeah, that's a tour of what we're mostly finished with, but not completely. So we got our finalized outpost. Super excited that that's done. It means we can actually find values. I think, well, I said we have a finalized outpost. I do want to spend a little bit of time, probably Thursday, to see if we can get an extra belt of iron out of a standard ore patch. I think that would be very helpful. I don't really see a great way to do that without having to make me incredibly picky about patches. I guess it's not too bad. Like, this would be usable. Actually, it wouldn't, because it's on coal. Yeah, like, this is barely usable as it is. If I try to make it a circle, I feel like we're gonna have a lot of unusable outposts. If anything, I should make the circle solely for the sake of making it that I have backups in case one of the drills doesn't place. So we might just add an extra row on the end that fills in gaps, but isn't actually necessary to the performance. 'Cause yeah, I think we need a backup, because it would not be great if we were missing like 5 drills. Yeah, we're pretty close. We have most of the infrastructure for the outpost being built. The outpost looks pretty solid to me. We will have to do a lot of troubleshooting for our base, and probably can remove a few hundred entities, a few thousand entities throughout our entire base, which is a lot. But we have not condensed all of the undergrounds yet, because it makes it really hard to build stuff if you remove all the undergrounds. But yeah, we're on good pace, I think. We're doing well. But I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you all next time. Peace. Also, thanks. Thanks for the invite. Yeah, there's my Discord link if anybody has suggestions on burner designs.